All right, y'all, what is going on? This is your man L Jamal. Of course, we're going to be running through my part two of my worst Republican cities, top 10 to be exact. This is going to take us East Coast, West Coast. It doesn't matter, down south. The point of this was to pretty much point out Republican, Democrat. It really doesn't matter. Many of these major cities, regardless of size, are suffering through some serious problems. Now, I don't know if we need a bipartisan approach or a completely political overhaul. But we're just going to talk about the cost of living in these cities, the crime rate, also some education stats as well. And we're going to compare them to other cities on top of that. Hopefully, you'll learn a little bit, and hopefully, we get some perspectives as we make our journey. So, let's go ahead and get into it. All right, y'all. Our first stop is going to be Binghamton, New York, population 44,399. Now, one of the positive factors here is the cost of living and the housing, with the median value of homes going at 106,000 bucks. However, the big issues start to arise in income that is rated at F. Now, the income per capita is $23,291. We also have a poverty rate of 32.5%. Now, one of the biggest factors behind this is the development of suburbs and declining manufacturing and defense industry in the area. Now, you still see companies here such as Lockheed Martin, Royal Collins, and also BAE Systems. Now, Binghamton also supplies New York with 13% of its computer and electronics jobs as well. However, another negative aspect here is the crime. Now, Binghamton, New York is only safer than 3% of other U.S. cities. We have a property crime rate that is 110% higher than the national average at 48.5. We also have a 1 in 21 chance of becoming a victim of such property crime. Burglaries, thefts, that break-ins, stuff like that. 227 crimes per square mile, but we do have some assault rates as well. The assault rate here is 550.9, much higher than the New York average of 229. The schools here also don't rank as well, at an F. Average test scores are 24%, with 67.5% of kids economically disadvantaged. All right, so we're going to take it back to California, to Stockton, California, in the San Joaquin Valley. Population 312,697. Now, we're going to jump into employment that is rated a D, according to AreaVibes.com. We have an income per capita of $20,688, 31% lower than the national average. The median household income is also 17% lower than the national average at $46,000. We have an 8.2 unemployment rate that is 76% higher than the national average, and we also have a poverty rate of 23.7%. In terms of crime, we have a violent crime rate of 14.1. You have a 1 in 71% chance of being a victim. The crime rate here is 260% higher than the national average. We had 34 murders here last year, 10.8 murder rate, higher than the California average of 4.3 and a national average of 5. We had over 3,000 assaults last year, over 2,245 burglaries, and the city was also 7th in auto thefts. Now, in terms of schools, they test pretty well. However, 61% of children are economically disadvantaged. That is the big problem here. Now, Stockton is a little bit of a mixed bag. We are in a city where the majority of the voters actually vote Democrat. However, the current mayor is Republican. You also have your state and your state and local representatives kind of mixed as well. You have some Republicans, you have some Democrats there as well. However, the county in itself that it lies in, San Joaquin, generally tends to lean red. We have also some couple other things going for Stockton as well. For one, it was an all-American city in 1999, 2004, 2015, and 2017. However, it was also one of the largest cities to file for bankruptcy until Detroit in 2014. They have also experimented with universal basic income, giving out $500 stipends to 125 random residents for about a year. And in 2013, here's another thing. Stockton was rated as the third least literate city in America based on a study by Connecticut State University, behind Bakersfield, course, in California, and also Corpus Christi, Texas. So you have some ups, you have some downs here in Stockton. Is that because of the Democrats? Is that because of Republicans? I don't know. Another good thing going for Stockton, however, is the fact that a lot of young college-educated adults are finding homes there, and they're looking to raise their families there. So that is a few good things going for the city. Let's move on. We're going to take another trip back to the last frontier, that being Alaska. This time we're going to stop off in Fairbanks, population 32,578. Fairbanks is the largest city in Alaska's interior, and is ran by Mayor Jim Matherly, of course, Republican. We have a Republican state senator, Click Bishop. We also have 2 Republican representatives coming from the city, Steve Thompson and also Bart Laban. And the registered voters typically vote for Republicans. Now, one of the bigger issues here is the cost of living and the housing. It's rated as an F. The cost of living in Fairbanks is 27% higher than the national average. Goods and services are 15% higher. Housing is 16% higher. Now, part of the goods and services, I would say the cost of living as well. A part of that is because virtually everything is shipped there, and it costs a whole hell of a lot. You have the same issues in Hawaii as well. I think you have a significant housing problem in terms of pricing there as well. So it's just all about logistics. In this case, a lot of it is logistics. The sales and state income tax are 100% lower than the national average. Now, Alaska as a state has the 8th highest rate of homelessness in the U.S., with 260 people out of every 100,000. Again, there's not as many people in Alaska, so that's a high rate of homelessness. Now, we look into employment, which is a part of that. It's given a D here in Fairbanks. Income per capita is $27,742, 7% lower than the national average. You're also going to see a 44% wage gap between men and women here as well, making your median household income $34,191. Whoa. 5.7 unemployment rate, 22% higher than the national average. Republicans love to talk about those jobs that they talk about giving everybody, talk about giving us jobs that immigrants are taking. I don't see it. We have a city with a 22%, with an unemployment rate that's 22% higher than the national average. It's not matching up. Crime here is also rated F. There's been a 4% increase over 2 years. Total crime is 104% higher than the national average. We have a violent crime rate that is 107% higher, and a property crime rate of 104% higher. There were 247 violent crimes in that city last year, 163 burglaries, over 1,000 thefts. Now, we could sit there and talk about property crime. I will never say it is as bad as murder or as bad as a violent crime on this platform, but I will say this: if you're living in poverty, if you're living in a messed up situation, somebody steals something from you, somebody breaks into your crib, that's still a significant loss. That's still a significant thing that happened to you. You have a 1 in 24 chance of being a victim of a property crime, and this city is only safer than 4% of the other cities in the U.S. and only 12% safer. Safer than 12% of the cities just in the state of Alaska. So it's very bad here. Only 50 police officers in the entire city. That is 1.5 officers per 1,000 citizens. 71% less than the Alaskan average, 52% lower than the national average. Again, schools, not so good. The average test score is 35%, 21% lower than the national average. We have a student-to-teacher ratio of 28-1, and 32% of children are economically disadvantaged. It's cold. It's a lot of violence. At least you got the Northern Lights. Shouts out to Skinner. Shouts out to your boy, Chalmers. And this place, at this day and time, concentrated. You already know. All right, let's move on down south. We're going to go to Mobile, Alabama. Population 193,717. The city is located near the Gulf of Mexico, so by the water. Employment here is a D minus. The income per capita here is $23,337, 22% lower than the national average. We have a median household income of $38,759. 30% lower than the national average. The unemployment rate here is 17% higher than the national average, and we have a poverty rate of 23% as well. Some of the types of work you'll be finding here, mostly in the shipyards, shipbuilding for one. That port of Mobile has been expanding since the late 90s. They've had $300 million worth of improvements. We have Austal, a company up there, employing up to 4,500 workers. We also got Atlantic Marine there. Oh, guess what? BMS Systems as well. Now, we also have some better employment going on in the area because of the Redeemer Act being passed by Governor Kay Ivey. Now, this allows for people convicted of misdemeanors and also certain nonviolent crimes to have their records expunged. Pretty cool. With that being said, though, Mobile is rated very bad for crime. 657 violent crimes per 100,000 people. We had a theft problem here as well. 3,439 thefts. We had an auto theft rate of 441. That is 134% higher than the national average. And you have a 1 in 18 chance of being a victim of a crime. That city is only safer than 6% of the cities here in the U.S. We also have 2.8 officers per 1,000 people, 31% lower than the national average. All right, let's take it back to the West Coast. We're going to go to North Las Vegas, Nevada. Population 230,436. Pretty much look at this as a suburb to the north of Vegas. Just a big ass suburb. The cost of living here is decent. I'm going to give it, it is given a C by Area Vibes. The rental prices are 18% higher than the national average. So maybe you don't want to rent. Maybe you look to own if you can. Sales tax here is 35% higher than the national average. Crime here is an F, violent crime rate 128% higher than the national average. We have robberies, 457 robberies last year. Damn. What is going on? 445 carjacking rate, 445. 1 in 35 chance of being a victim of a crime. Only safer than 9% of U.S. cities. Again, pattern here in Republican cities. High crime. Low paying jobs. Oh, schools. Okay. F. 76% of kids have graduated the 8th grade. Just 74% of kids have graduated high school. Again, I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon of you need a degree. I understand that people do have these issues with the modern public school system. You have to have something. I'm not saying you have to go to a college to get a degree. Maybe you get a trade, but you got to start somewhere. You got to have something. Otherwise, you're going to be like the majority of people in this city and not making no money. That's just the way it is. But if you compare this city, schools, in terms of schools now, to another city like, we say, Baton Rouge in Louisiana, Red Stick, the schools in Baton Rouge rate at a B minus. And we know how we like to raw dog the South. The average test scores in Baton Rouge, 57%, 87% higher than the national average. 86% of people have graduated 8th grade. 85% of people have graduated high school. The average test scores, I might be a little bit wrong about where those place, but they are significantly higher than most of the cities that we've talked about here. So, there you go. Now, let's move on. And one last thing about North Las Vegas. You got it bad when there's cities like Baton Rouge that are doing better than you in certain ways. I'm just keeping it real. I never would have expected that, Baton Rouge would have pretty decent. I wouldn't have guessed that, especially compared to somewhere in Nevada. That's me. But there you go. That's why we do this. Let's move on to the Midwest. Decatur, Illinois, population 74,063. This is the county seat of Macon County in central Illinois. This is listed by the U.S. Census Bureau as the third fastest declining large city in terms of population, with a 7.1% drop between 2010 and 2019. The city has gone back and forth between red and blue, but has generally stayed Republican since 2000. The majority of city and county officials, as well as a U.S. representative, is Republican, and that is Rodney Davis. That is their U.S. representative out of that county, out of that area. One thing going for the area that is cool, cost of living, that's an A. 18%, the cost of living is 18% lower than the national average. Housing prices are lower, 49% to be exact. However, Illinois' income tax is 101% higher than the national average. So that's one thing. Crime here, like we see in any other city, pretty bad. 32% higher than the national average. The violent crime is 40% higher, so not as bad as you've seen in other cities. However, the robbery rate is pretty high, 349.3, higher than the Illinois average of 254. The national average is 250, so there's a lot of robberies here, a lot of burglaries. The burglary rate is 625. That is compared to 271 in terms of Illinois, and the national average national rate of burglaries is 340. There you go. You have a 1 in 31 chance of being a victim here. Let's talk about employment. Again, like with many other cities here, fortunately, it's been rated at F. Income per capita, $23,601, 21% lower than the national average. The median household income is also 26% lower than the national average. Ladies, don't come here with no skills or degree, because you will be only earning $21,142, much lower than your average man. Largest industries include manufacturing and food processing. This is rated as the fourth best place to work in manufacturing. I'll give you that. Jobs here have increased, at least in that area, have increased by 33%. So if you want to work in a manufacturing plant, this is the spot. You want a job there you go. Unemployment rate is 56% higher than the national average. So good luck, because that's the only place where they're going to be hiring. So if you're not trying to work in manufacturing, I don't know what to tell you. You compare this, though, to Bolingbrook, another city in Illinois, in terms of, the employment. We have a household income in Bolingbrook that is 45% higher than the national average. We have an unemployment rate that is down actually 15% compared to the national average. And the poverty rate in Bolingbrook is only 8.9. So again, just to kind of tell you, it's not so good in Decatur. It ain't looking so hot. I'm just throwing that out there. We also got the schools here rated F. Average test scores are 74% lower than the national average. 22-1 student-to-teacher ratio. We also have two candidates for the school board of the city being arrested and investigated on felony charges. What is going on in that city? Tell me, y'all, what is going on here? Decatur, get it together. Let's move on. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Now, this one is a beach city here. The income per capita, 10% lower than the national average, though. Household income, 33% lower than the national average at $37,023. Unemployment rate is 6.8%. The poverty rate is 22.9%. Still one of the fastest growing cities in America, however. The population will jump from 27,109 to 34,695. I believe it's a matter of 9 to 10 years. So there you go. You got nice weather and beaches. Bring about 14 million visitors per year. So you got dining, golfing, hotels. You also got all that going on. You got revenue, $7 billion in revenue. Supplies, more than 80% of jobs. Housing, though, is rated at an F. Because obviously too expensive to live there. So, you got the industries here. You got the tourist industry going. Obviously, people aren't making a whole lot of money still. That's the way it is. Crime, significantly high in the city, 399% higher than the national average. And this is the total crime rate. We had a rate. I don't want to say this word too much, but y'all tell me how y'all feel about it, ladies. If you hear it, let me know. There's a rate of rape here that's 149.2 compared to 47.8 in South Carolina and a national rate of 42.6. Damn, y'all. That might be that tourist situation. Ladies, be careful. Be careful. We have a 280.1 robbery rate compared to 64. The 64 That's the rate of the state, South Carolina. You also have a robbery rate of just 81.6 on a national level. The assault rate, 751. So assaults, robberies, of course, sexual, well, forceful, sexual encounters. That's rampant here. Property crime, 432% higher than the national average. The burglary rate, 872. That's compare that to the state average of 533 and the national average of 340. Whoa. The carjack rate, 654. It's violent. That's what I'm going to tell you. It's violent. You have a 1 in 9 chance of becoming a victim here. Enjoy your fun along the beach, I guess, and then go home. I'm not going to live there. Okay, we almost done. We're going to take it back to the southwest. We're going to head out to Yuma, Arizona, population 93,704. This is the county seat of Yuma County. They have about 85 retirees coming there during the winter, so you're kind of getting an idea of where we're at. Small, low-key little town. Some people there. It's a decent population, but there you go. Crime rate, we have an assault rate that is slightly higher than the national average here. 312.9 in Yuma compared to just 311 in terms of Arizona, but again, slightly higher, not significantly. You also got violent crime rate, which is on par with the national average. The burglary rate, however, is higher than the state average and the national average at 409. You also have 1,586 deaths. Now, again, not a whole lot of murders in this particular place, not a whole lot of violent crimes, but again, property crimes. People are going to be stealing from you. People are going to be fucking with your shit. I'm not saying you shoot somebody over it, all that, but I will say keep an eye on your stuff. Tweakers are out there. You gotta lock up. Now let's go ahead and talk about the employment here. Also given a very bad grade, income per capita is 20% lower than the national average. The household income, this is $44,206. We also have an income per capita that is 28% lower than the national average. Unemployment rate is 6.7. We also have a poverty rate of 18.4. The biggest employers here are going to be the Marine Air Corps Station, the Marine Corps Air Station. Excuse me. Sorry about that. We also have the Yuma High School District. So the school district. So that's what you got. Military school. If you ain't working in one of those, I don't know what to tell you. Schools here are given an F. Average test scores are 29% lower than the national average, with just 74% of people completing the 8th grade, 72% of residents completing high school. Again, that's what you got. Finally, we're going to take it back down south again. We're going to finish it all off with Jonesboro, Arkansas. Population 72,638. This is the 5th largest city in Arkansas. It's also home to Arkansas State University. The cost of living here is actually given a B+. The housing is given an F because of housing prices. The cost of living is lower overall. The sales tax is 28% higher than the national average. And real estate prices are 211% higher than the national average. We're in freaking Jonesboro, Arkansas. Fuck, you got high ass. Why you got so high in, real estate? What the fuck is up? Ain't nothing out there. What the fuck? I'm just saying, people gotta live. It'd be amazing to me. I could see if it's Alaska, you gotta, ship everything out there and all that, but you're in butt fucking. Never mind. You're never mind. Crime, of course, F. Total crime is up 80%. You got a robbery rate of 74. This is higher than Arkansas's rate of 51. The national rate of 81. Assault rate is 500. This is higher than the state average of 447. The national rate of assault is 250. Damn. They want you to spend 211% more for your real estate here? Okay. The theft rate is, we're not gonna go there. You have a 1 in 23 chance of being a victim. Just know that there was like over like 2,000 thefts in the city. Yeah, they gonna steal from you. They gonna assault you. Okay, but that's America. As long as it ain't blue, right? As long as it ain't Democrat, right? Okay. Employment, D. Household income, $42,732, 23% lower than the national average. The income per capita is 17% lower than the national average. We have a poverty rate of 21.6, 44% high. Let's just say it's higher than the national average. Every city that we didn't mention here has a poverty rate that is significantly higher than the national average. I don't know what to tell you guys. Schools, F. Average test scores are 40% lower than the national average. There are 23 public schools. Now, on Area Vibes, they were all pretty much given an F. That was their grade. 23 public schools, all graded an F. I don't make this up. Go to areavibes.com. Don't look at me like I'm crazy. Okay. But that's what you get here, guys. You got to mix. I mean, even in some of these bad cities like Stockton, you had some good things going there. It was an all-American city at one time. You have some, improvements being made in some of these cities. Like, for example, in Mobile, you had a situation where you've expanded the port, you've expanded, access to jobs. They've taken away restrictions for certain offenders. So you're seeing certain changes. Again, there's positives in some of these cities. Binghamton, they have a lot of computer science related work. You can get a job as a technician. You can get a job working for the defense, for our defense. There's some jobs here to be had. There's some good living to be had in some of these places, but there's a lot of shit we got to look out for. So Republican, Democrat, as far as I know, it don't make too much of a difference. All right, y'all. I'm going to leave the links for y'all to follow me. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like, leave your comments. Please be sure to subscribe. More importantly, if you just can only watch me, just give me a watch. I'll take that too. All right, y'all. I'll holler at you guys later. I love you guys. I'm out.